You're listening to the Performance Group Podcast, a place to listen, learn, and get to know the unseen heroes of our local community. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Sean Kirby, and on the Performance Group Podcast, we make it our mission to learn from those around us and shed light on our local community. If you're new to the show, we have spoken to business leaders, community organizers, friends, and family. And before we jump in today, I hope to ask you for a favor. If you could please just take 1 second to hit subscribe and share our posts. It would mean a whole lot to me, our team here at the Performance Group, and our amazing guests on today's show. So that actually plays into music too. Ready? Hello, and welcome to an episode of the Performance Group Podcast. My name is Sean Kirby, and on today's episode of the Performance Group Podcast, I'm joined by three of many leadership individuals at Community Sports and Wellness, the CSW here in Pendleton, Indiana. So I want to take a second for everybody to introduce themselves. We're going to do it one at a time. So I want to start with Bryant. Bryant, raise your hand and say, hi, I'm Bryant.
Both hands are raised. Hi, I'm Bryant.
Hi, I'm Bryant. Bryant is the director of tennis at Community Sports and Wellness. And then we've got Tammy Wrestler. Tammy is the vice president. That's all it says on her. She opened it up so I could read inside of her vest that her name is Tammy because I called her the wrong name earlier. Tammy, what are you the vice president of?
I do VP Staff Relations, and I'm an Integrative Nutrition Health Coach.
Awesome. Perfect.
Yeah,
well, thank you for being thanks for being here, guys. And then last but not least, Chris, you ready?
Yep.
Slide your.
Don't get me in the nose. All right. Yeah, I'm Chris Farrar, and I am a VP also at Community Sports and Wellness and the Wellness Director and an indoor cycling instructor.
Jeez Louise, I didn't even think how this was going to work. Chris, you and I are just going to get really close. You and I are really going to get to know each other doing this. I think this is really kind of the only way to do it, right? The inside move.
Maybe.
So, Chris, did you say your last name is Farrar?
Yes, and let me just tell you a little story.
Because I did
here.
not pronounce that right when I read
Yeah, it's Farrar. So, you know the ending scene of A Christmas Story when the hound dogs eat the turkey and they go to the Chinese restaurant and they're standing around going, Farrar, rah, 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 rah. That's how you pronounce my name.
Well, that's good to know. Now that everybody has that visual when they walk into community sport and wellness, that's all they're going to be saying. We got to be a little careful with that, I guess. So, guys, I appreciate you coming in. We're going to kind of run through a list of the plethora of things you do. But first, I want to start with, who was the first one at the location?
Who was the first one?
Yeah, of the three of you. Were you guys all hired at the same time?
I'd say Bryant.
Bryant, yeah. November.
I did not expect that to be the answer, but
Well-
I guess that is true at this table, yeah.
Official
Yeah.
hire.
Yeah, I joined the team about 2 weeks before we opened up our doors to the public, so there was a lot of people behind the scenes years before that, but I kind of joined in while the iron was hot, so.
Yeah, and I joined shortly after that. So, yeah, I was there when we opened, December 14th,
December 14th of what year?
2020, middle of COVID.
Yeah, perfect. Good time to open.
It was.
It was.
Such a good
It was
time.
well planned.
Yeah, so, again, this thing is crazy. I don't know what it sounds like to you guys, but I assume that we sound crazy. Or at least I sound crazy. Can you hear me?
It's okay. We have a lot of fun where we work, so why not have fun here?
I feel like I'm in a rock band. I just can't figure out how this. I just don't know. You tell me, Tammy. How's this going so far for you?
I
on,
think
Vice
you as
President.
the hostess need to have a mic.
Yeah, I thought about that about halfway through
really
this. It really seems like.
So I would be glad to share mine.
Well, why don't you two share? Can we share back and forth?
Yeah.
I apologize
Yeah.
to everybody
I
who's
do.
already 3 minutes and 25
I'm not an
seconds into this
expert.
episode.
I'm not an expert on podcasting, but
Yeah, obviously
She
neither am
listens to
I.
a lot of them.
Do you?
I did some back in the day.
You did podcasts? Uh-oh, Tammy. Do tell.
Yeah,
What?
we did during COVID. Had a podcast.
What's it called? Can
was-
people find it online?
Oh my gosh, they can. It was called Around the Tuesday Table.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What happened around the Tuesday table?
You have to listen in.
And then you beg it's Wednesday.
Yeah. It's just on various health and wellness topics. It was on just topical things.
Yeah,
On
things that you like.
Yep.
Like business.
Anything that, yep.
Yeah, business.
Wasn't really business.
No,
No,
you don't like
glad to be
business?
here. Glad to be here to talk about business.
This is a crazy experience ever. So let's talk about health and wellness. So the Health and Wellness Center opened during COVID.
Yep.
How are we doing on membership? Are we full? Are we missing people?
Well, we're up to about 2,300 members.
What?
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
Are there even that many people in Pendleton?
well,
Hey, beyond Pendleton.
So we did some data gathering last year, and we learned that about 48% of the people that walk through our doors are coming from outside a 40-mile radius of Pendleton, Indiana. So we're pulling from Carmel and Indianapolis and all over the state, as well as other parts of the region.
Hamilton County is a big one.
Do you think that's the tennis, or do you think that's the gymnastics studio, or do you think it's just a little bit of everything?
I think that tennis is, for those, if we're talking about people south of exit 219, I think tennis is a big part of what's drawing them into the club. But what we're finding is that as a facility that is not as only tennis, a lot of people are getting involved in other areas. You know, parents are bringing their kids, bringing them to a class, and then maybe they're joining something else, or finding, you know, that they don't need to just sit and watch their child hit tennis balls. They can go do a spin class or a fitness class. So I think that's maybe the opportunity in the door, but it's not the whole result. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't think of a lot of tennis, places around central Indiana other than the one that you guys had, recently opened. How many courts do you have?
We have 8 indoor courts.
Is that a lot? That seems like a lot.
I think... Well, you're asking. That's relative to who you're asking. If you're
I'm asking you. I'm asking the director of tennis. Is that a lot?
I would love 64 personally. No, I'm kidding. No, 8 is, I think, the standard amount to run a good facility. What's special about our courts is that they each have the technology to record and share data. So even though we only have 8 courts, although that is a good number, they're 8 really high-powered courts, and I think that provides a lot of opportunity for Pendleton as well.
What's a high-powered court versus a non-high-powered court?
Well, I will tell you. So you go to a standard court, you play, you have fun, you go home. But on our court, you have the ability to live stream your match play, your practices, to record the data. On courts 1 and 5, for example, we have smart court technology. So that will tell a kid or an adult how fast they're serving, how many RPMs are on ball. You can track that data. And now when I'm working with a student, rather than just tell them, hey, Sean, you're doing a good job, buddy. I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I can point at a number and say, Sean, like, dude, look over here. You just served 100. You've been serving 60 for the last 2 weeks. That's better. And then now confidence is backed up by factual data. And, there's a lot of coaches that are really good across Indiana, but the difference is when you put data, especially in this younger generation, they buy in. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just the difference. So.
Absolutely. So was that kind of the intention behind putting the smart court data in the first place then?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so we have a president, Jenny Morgan, who is an avid tennis player herself and a big fan. And I think, I wasn't there when this was a dream. I was around, but I wasn't part of it. I think that she knew if she was going to do this, she wanted to do it right at, whatever costs and risks that are. If we're going to put a facility in, let's have an opportunity to have the premier facility in Indiana. So the rest of the work is just going to take time, and there's a lot of work behind the scenes, but in terms of the facility alone, it's one of the best tennis facilities in the Midwest, not just Indiana. Not a lot of places have what we have, and that's just the reality.
Yeah, and I've even heard, talking to Chris in the past, was that you guys are even starting to draw a lot of tournaments and a lot of eyeballs to Pendleton, Indiana.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's something we're really proud of. I mean, the hardest part, honestly, in this role is time management, and it's like playing Tetris. At times you're trying to fit anything where you can. The sky's the limit of opportunities. We just have to think not just for tournaments, not just for youth programming, not just for adults, not just for beginners. We have to find a way to service everyone. That's probably the biggest challenge, but it's a fun challenge to have.
That's a good reason to need 64 courts instead of 8.
See, now you get it. Now you get it. Yeah.
Truly
exactly
tennis.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to also add that, between tennis and pickleball, which is absolutely huge as well, we're a really nice economic driver for the town of Pendleton. There's been many times where after match play, people will go down and eat in a restaurants, and I've seen them down there. Because I'm also eating in the restaurants.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We had a private lesson with a group of ladies, and it was 6 ladies that would come every time. There was 8 total. They would always substitute, and they would literally ask me, where are you going? I'm like, go to the bank. I haven't been to the bank. But I send them to the bank.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And so I think that's pretty great for Pendleton, for sure.
It sure is.
Yeah, are you getting much involvement from maybe small business coming to you and saying, hey, send people our way, or how can we be a part of CSW?
Yeah, actually, just, having been open since December of 2020, we have seen a lot more businesses come in, and we We don't have any corporate members. Well, actually, no, we do. We have one corporate member, Pendleton Christian Church.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, they recognize the value of subsidizing their employees' membership because it's a stressful job. Let's face it. So they're being proactive about their employees' health. So, but outside of that, we do see a lot of businesses come in, a lot of individuals, a lot of teachers. We revised our class schedule to be more closely aligned with teachers trying to get in before classes. They have to be at school at 7 in the morning, so we have classes start at 5:15. They get out of school earlier, so we have 4:30 classes as well.
And with it being obviously community sport and wellness, it's part of the community network in some sense, right? Or are they just like a name sponsor of the building?
They're a naming
Lucas
sponsor.
Oil type of thing.
Yeah, they are the Lucas Oil.
What's the new
Pendleton.
Banker's Life?
Gainbridge.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's not
Unless
confusing.
it's changed in the last week.
Yeah, Conseco.
But Deer Creek will always be Deer Creek.
Yeah, so will community always be community?
Well, we hope so.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
It's who wouldn't want a Community Health Anderson as a partner? So they are a naming sponsor of ours.
Performance. Oh my goodness. We're coming for the hospital right now. We'll call it Performance Sport and Wellness. So when it comes due,
Yeah, okay.
come knocking. Don't tell me numbers yet because I don't want to freak out, but I'll start saving in my piggy bank, and we'll call it Performance Sport and Wellness. Plus performance,
You could
yeah.
actually sponsor a court or be a sponsor for our tennis department.
I'll have to learn how to play tennis in order to do so.
No, you don't have
You
to learn
didn't.
how
You
to play
didn't talk
tennis.
into the microphone. He may not have heard you.
Yeah, so for everybody listening at home, I do have 4 microphones. One of my cords didn't work, so we are hobbling together a wonderful podcast. So I do appreciate you guys being good sports. And if you need my extendo arm,
It's okay.
there you go.
What
Just
am-
talk. Say something.
What do you want to talk about? I think it would behoove us to not forget about IPA. So Samantha Clark is our new director. We have another end to the facility where it was gymnastics, cheer, tumbling, ninja. And so it's been rebranded to be Indiana Premier Athletics. And we have an amazing staff that she has put together. She is a business-minded individual who is a master's degree educator.
And also from Pendleton.
And from a Pendleton grad, that's right.
And I would just say she's a tour de force. Anytime that she talks in a meeting, I just start grinning. And I usually don't. She's awesome.
And so she has an amazing vision for bridging this gap of education for today and movement, which fits in just brilliantly down there. And so she brings just a dynamic personality and vision for that space down there that we're excited about.
So we have the space itself is like a tale of 3 cities. So it's 122,000 square feet, give or take some square feet. 52,000 square feet is tennis. 13,000 on the other end is the Indiana Premier Athletics, and then the middle part is where we have the flexible use space. Where pickleball, basketball, volleyball, all the cardio, weight equipment, and all the group fitness classes.
That's a big place. So I've always heard the statistics of how much air conditioning in dollars that Lucas Oil loses when they open that thing. And this is probably something I'm not supposed to ask, but I assume it's really expensive to heat and cool that place, right?
Well, we don't use it. We just make them sweat it out.
Well, welcome to the gym. You're either going to get cold or you're going to sweat.
Actually, let me just comment.
I'm kidding.
Let me comment that one of the comments that we do get is because of the high ceilings, the air smells cleaner. You don't get that gymmy smell, and it's climate controlled all year round. So as opposed to maybe other tennis facilities, the air is the same. So
And stale.
It's good air. We got some good air there.
It's good air. And so, whereas
Mountain air.
some tennis players might go outside in the summertime, we keep some of our folks inside because it's a really nice place to play.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a relationship with Pendleton Heights?
In terms of the high school for tennis, so we have a handful of students that work. We have been in contact with different opportunities. Right now, one of the things that we're looking at is I don't want to speak on behalf for them, but
Feel free.
Chad,
I'll let you.
Yeah, no. Chad Smith, the athletic director, reached out, and we're looking at opportunities to host some practices and matches at our facility this year for what court. I don't know the reasonings, resurfacing or something, and I don't know. But that's something we want to do more. Obviously, we want to give first dibs on Pendleton to do opportunities and things for them. But my job as a director is to help any kid that comes in our door, whether it's from Pendleton or wherever. The great thing for Pendleton is we're in their backyard. So I do foresee a big cultural change in the sport of tennis within the next few years. We have, to be honest with you, there's a few amount of high school kids in our programming, but when you look at our younger kids, most of them live in Pendleton. And I can't help but just count some of these young boys and girls, and I'm like, do you realize your tennis team's going to be a top 10 in the state and no one's even going to realize it's just going to happen in 6 years?
Yeah.
And that's pretty cool to be part of each day. So I think that relationship will just continue to grow as tennis as a sport grows in Pendleton. I mean, tennis is a sport that I'm just going to be frank, no one usually cares about unless you play it. And half the people that play it still don't care about it. I could ask anyone in my class today, who won the tournament? They're like, well, we don't care, man. We just play and drink wine. So it doesn't really matter. But I think that the sport will grow in terms of culture because this facility is here. And that's pretty cool to be part of.
Yeah, and I mean, unless you have something like that, it's easy to look over it until
absolutely.
Once they built the baseball stadiums, baseball is the biggest thing to all youth programs here in Pendleton. So, if you build it, they will come. I think it's kind of one of those things. Tennis will come back around. Plus, with head injuries and all the other things in all the other sports, parents, moms, are going to be like, hey, why don't we play tennis this year? You know what? Or you can run cross country.
That's right, or the moms can play. That's the biggest thing is we're getting kids involved, but I would say, and not saying dads aren't a part of it either, but the one thing that we're really proud of, the biggest growth for us, which is not normal in a tennis facility, has been beginner tennis. I mean, there are so many mothers and some fathers that have gotten into it, and not just getting into the sport, they're competing. They're part of leagues. I mean, for our first year doing this, we're part of a Central Indiana Women's Tennis Indoor League, CWITL. Memorize that. That's what the acronym is. So anyways, what's really awesome is some of our ladies, which is the beginner level ladies, they were undefeated this whole season. I mean, they have a chance to win the league against Carmel Indianapolis Racket Club, and we just opened. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Go, ladies.
Shout out to those moms.
Way to go, moms.
Tear it up, moms. Dads, get on it. We need you here. So I think that's really exciting. Yeah, that's D Whittle. Yeah. It's not as fun, but it's important.
Yeah, tennis, I think it's an interesting thing, and it will ever grow in popularity, especially, I think, pickleball, as we've talked about before, which is a sport that 95% of people don't know what it is. Right. It sounds made up. It sounds like it was invented by children. Or chefs. Can you talk about pickleball in maybe its current popularity and why you think it's so popular?
Yeah, and I think I'm a good person to answer that because I don't do a lot of pickleball myself, to be honest with you. I've enjoyed it every time that I have. I just don't have the time, to really do that. What I think is really attractive to pickleball is tennis can be a frustrating sport as a beginner. If you're going in there and if you have a coach that's, hit the ball in, that was not in, and there's no energy and there's no fun, which happens a lot, you're going to quit. Why would you want to pay money for something that's boring and that you feel you stink at, right? Whereas pickleball, yes, you can be very good. There is a huge technical component. But for a lot of beginners, they can put a paddle in their hand. By the way, it's a paddle, not a racket. They can put a paddle in their hand. They can step onto a court, and they can contribute to what's happening even if they're not good. And I think that keeps people in it. I think that it's very, very good movement without the risk of tearing an ACL because it's more of choppy, quick steps that keeps your cardio up as opposed to running 45 feet to chase a fuzzy ball. Mm-hmm. So I, in my opinion, and I don't want to, some people are like, there's more to it than that. I think there's a lot more to it than that. It's one of those sports that anybody can play and only a few can master.
It's kind of like bowling, right? In the sense that it's you can play it no matter your age. You can go with your friends, you can have a good time, or you can take it serious if you want to.
Well, I want to be very cautious in answering that as a director of tennis because the town of pickleball will come at me with pitchforks. It is an aggressive, competitive sport.
Do you know Taylor Hall? Do you know Taylor Hall? So Taylor Hall is the one who introduced Chris and I. So Taylor Hall is, the director of pickleball in Indiana. I really don't know what his title is. But he's also the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer at GVC Mortgage. And he would probably cuss me out if I said something about pickleball.
Again, there's a social aspect, sure, but there is a huge competitive crowd that goes to tournaments.
Same with ping pong. I get it. It's just big ping pong.
Yeah, I mean, There is a social component. I think that's the side most people see, but I think there is a culture in pickleball that is huge, and these people will travel anywhere in the Midwest.
It's like CrossFit. You know what I mean? It's not like a real sport, but they take it like it is.
I didn't say that.
Oh, me either.
Didn't say that.
Oh, no.
I would only say CrossFit's
say
not
it's a
because I
real
can't do
sport.
it.
I say
Pickleball is a real sport. It is a competitive, aggressive, real sport. I'll put it this way.
Strategic.
My background in tennis, I can't step on a court and be the best pickleball player.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do okay, and I do okay, but the next thing I know, 3 people are teaching me, and I'm like, oh, no.
Well, I'll tell you something. Pickleball is humbling.
It's
very, very humbling. Because you do get up there and you think, you see people who play it routinely. Be very careful, and then you make an assumption.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you get up there and you think, I can do this, right? And then you can't.
And then they never call you back because you suck.
And people
You couldn't make
people
it,
are like
Chris.
looking at you going, get off the court. You're so bad.
It's a real thing. I think, in my honest opinion, I was just talking about this yesterday. I'm going to give a hot take that I don't think anyone ever talks about. The only reason that I think pickleball gets assumptions made or not a lot of clout is because it's not in high schools yet. And I am, as a tennis director right now, saying you have got to put pickleball in high schools and IHSAA. Do it. No one's talked about this. I'm telling you, it needs to be out there. I think it would give kids something to do, and then I think more people would start taking it seriously because it's not just an adult social casual sport. We're doing it in high schools and traveling in buses and competing. Put it out there right now. Make that happen.
I don't know anyone there, but
It ain't gonna happen. It's your fault, Sean.
I'll send him a clip. I'll send him a clip.
CrossFit.
Yeah. Well,
It's not a real sport.
So when you were talking, Chris, where people get mad at you if you're not like completely perfect, it reminds me of like euchre. If you play euchre with like old people who take it like super seriously, like it can be a fun game, like spoons.
God, no, you
like you want to just play, you just want to kick under the table and tell me it's your go. But like if you've got somebody that they got money on the line, they're used to betting on euchre with their boys every weekend, they get so mean. My grandma growing up, they played Clabber, which is just a German version, but they were mad at you.
Well, you bring up euchre. You're exactly right. If you've got people who are just all about winning, less about the fun of the sport.
Yeah, we're just
all
kids.
about winning.
It just depends. Yeah.
Then you're gonna have that, but you're gonna have that in every sport. Just like there's in everything that you do. There's always gonna be that one group of people who are, just
those
really
people
in your face.
Those people.
And good for them.
But as far as so our tagline.
I think Tammy might be.
Our tagline at Community Sports and Wellness is "Find Your Fit," and so. It's really our goal as a team to help people who walk in our door to find their fit, whether it be tennis, whether it be down in what we call the gymnastics end or the IPA end, or on a spin bike. Or on a pickleball court, and it may not even be fitness. It may be something different. It may be more health coaching. It may be coming in. We have people from actually you asked about business community. We have several people from the business community, not members, who come into our cafe where we sell Starbucks coffee, plug in, use our Wi-Fi, and work. And so in this day and age of COVID, working from home, it's a nice alternative to sitting in your home office. You can come in, get a cup of coffee every now and then, maybe a snack, see some folks, and you're going to see people because it's Pendleton. And so we can help you find your fit there.
And that's all that matters. So we'll swing the mic back to Tammy because Tammy is so let's talk about health and wellness, right? Yes. So you are not only a vice president, but you also do a lot with the health and wellness side, right?
That's my heart.
That's your heart.
Passion, love it.
Enough to create a Tuesday podcast about it, right?
Exactly.
So let's talk about health and wellness. What does health and wellness mean to you?
So I would say health and wellness is not just movement or coming into a gym. It's whole body. So there's the mental aspect, the mental component, social, emotional. So I like to think of wellness as the whole person. I think health could be scientific and medical, yet I think there can be components of wellness that are more non-doctor like and
traditional.
So more traditional. Thank you. So I love the idea of functional medicine, things that aren't streamlined, And so I think that piece is something that we can bring. That's what I love to sit with people and.
Yeah, you're a coach, right? You're a wellness coach. Yeah. So what do you do in a wellness session with somebody? Like, what are your talking points? Yeah. Is it about stretching? Like in my head, like I'm like, is this about stretching? Wellness is about food a lot of the time, right?
And I think that's probably a perception. And so.
Like euchre.
Yeah.
Like pickleball.
Yes. Everything.
Wait, what's the question?
What do you talk about in a wellness coaching session?
So coaching is kind of a partnership, and so truly the client drives the session, and so when they come in, they set the topic. Mm-hmm. So it could be about their nutrition or their diet. It could also be about they just filed for divorce, they need some help because now they're.
Do you charge by the hour for that?
We do.
I was gonna say.
We got some nice packages that we could set you up with.
Atta girl. We'll talk pricing when we're all done.
So I say
my marriage is fine, by the way.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm here to talk about.
So there you go. So whatever a client comes in, they set the agenda.
Awesome.
What's on their heart? What do they need to talk about? So again, it's a lot of lifestyle.
Yeah.
It could be career. I just got fired. So now I need to talk about that because that's going to impact their health and their well-being and their wellness. So
in your like your main gym location, I know you guys have spin classes and a flex space like you had said. What kind of things do you guys do in there class-wise and stuff like that?
All right.
This is fun.
Yeah, this is really fun because I've done a lot of data gathering as to what classes are most popular. And so in one word, high intensity interval training. Mm-hmm. Actually, we do HIIT. We do a lot of that, high intensity classes. It seems to be the most popular, the ones that people keep coming back. Kettlebell's huge. And even the instructors don't know why, but it's huge. They love it. I
hate kettlebells, so that doesn't make any sense.
I know. It doesn't make any sense.
So I haven't done kettlebell, but I just want to throw something out there. I always want to do it because they're colorful.
Well, it could be. It could be.
It draws me when I see the yellow, purple, and green and blue little just
like granimals.
People like to throw stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, and so another one of our very popular classes, 25 people in a room with occupancy of 30 max, is a functional fitness class. Mm-hmm. And the instructor that teaches that is one of the best instructors I've ever seen in my history of ever teaching anything. And it's all based on movement that you might do every day at home while you're cooking, cleaning, doing laundry. People of all ages do it, and you work up a sweat. It's low intensity, but it's high impact. So people love it.
How many classes do you guys have a day?
We have 35 classes a week. So, you know.
Days are there a week. So 5 classes a day.
Yeah,
if there's 7 days.
Roughly five-ish. We do 3 or 4 on Saturday, and then we actually have a couple Sunday classes. Would you believe, Sean,
No.
that
Not yet. Not till you mention it.
Our Sunday 4 o'clock yoga class is one of our most popular classes.
As somebody who has a wife who has to survive the entire week, Sunday at 4 o'clock doesn't sound too bad to go stretch quietly by yourself.
Sunday at 4 o'clock.
Free pass.
Yeah.
Even during the Super Bowl.
Of all the times to go, that's the time to go.
Yeah.
You mean I don't have to cook beanie weenies and sit around a bunch of dudes? Yeah. I'm going to go somewhere else.
No buff dip.
Yeah.
So we had added onto the schedule, and I'm still doing it. It's not technically on the schedule now, but just to meet that business community need, 30-minute cycle classes. Just pop in, do a quick 30 minutes.
You guys have showers?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I've never used them.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Yeah, we do.
Community how many showers are there?
There's 2.
Like
two in the men's and 2 in the women's.
Stalled?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
free open.
Yeah, well, hey, you never know.
No. Holistic wellness.
Yeah. I went to a swim class with my daughter at AU the other weekend, and she's 2.5. Now, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this because it's AU. But
go ahead, as an alumni and former director.
So I'm getting dressed to go home, and my daughter, who's 2, we're getting her dressed, and this man walks in from the showers. I'm just like, dude, child, and he just walked straight to where he needed to go. No towel. This is not. You're not in college. You're an adult man.
That was the math professor, I guarantee it.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I don't know that.
who knows?
I just made that up.
It might be.
I just made that up.
But in the moment, I was just like, yeah, let's get out of here. So yeah, I took her home, and then today swim again. So she's going with her mother and the girls one, and I'll do that alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, good to know there's stalled showers. That's all I'm
Yes,
saying.
we have stalled showers. Yeah, we actually have two boxing coaches. One is a retired.
Is this in regards to the
professional-
showers? What are you talking
Well,
about?
actually, I segued.
In case you
Sean.
can.
I-
You need to
I-
protect
you have
yourself.
a-
I did
moment in the
I did
shower.
an unusual, maybe inconvenient segue from.
No,
the
I'll
shower
take
to
it. I'll
boxing.
take it. Get me out of here. Yeah, go. Keep going. Where were we boxing at?
Yeah. No, we have a retired professional, champion boxer working for us as a personal trainer, and we also have an amateur boxer, firefighter, everything. He does everything. Tennis player. So we have these.
Is he single?
Yeah, no, he's married.
He got,
I was gonna say,
he got gobbled up real quick.
Eligible bachelor in Pendleton,
Yeah.
Indiana. Firefighter, boxing coach.
We're actually going to
Massage
do a calendar of
therapist.
just
Oh my
him.
gosh,
Yeah,
can
he's
I marry
everything.
him? This
Yeah.
guy's
I know,
everything.
he is everything.
I did coaching with him.
And yeah. So I mean, we have some, and we have working the front desk in the early mornings. We have an Olympian, an Olympic shot putter that participated in the 2016 Rio Olympics.
How?
She works for us.
She threw it real far. What do
I
you
was
mean, how
saying-
did she get to the Olympics?
why
She
she-
took said heavy ball,
Yeah.
and she not threw, but put the ball very far.
Put it. So is she local? Is she a transplant?
She's
How'd she end up?
actually, from Lawrence, or Indiana,
Uh-huh.
and now lives in Anderson.
How about that?
Yeah.
I'll be. You got a little bit of everybody there. Well, like you were saying earlier, Tim, you got 70 people that work there. You guys are turning into quite the little employer here
Yes.
locally. 2,600 members.
23.
Well, whatever. It's still like a
it out.
yeah. That's
Some
a
people are
Let's
worth
go.
3. So.
yeah. That's a bunch of people.
yeah.
So, what are your membership prices? Might as well. I mean, people are going to ask, what's your membership prices?
Well, all right. So, yeah.
We got plenty of time. I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, so when you talk pricing,
Yes.
People are gonna
it's
stop
so
listening.
much help.
No, they're not.
So wait a second.
People go onto your website. What's the first thing they look? How much it costs?
So I'll blurt
People
it
are going to
out,
listen
but-
because the best part's coming after this.
Because if they stuck around 30 minutes, they're interested.
So let me paint the picture, okay? So when you walk in and you look at the high ceilings, you look at how beautiful it is, you look at the brand new equipment that's like top of the line, and then you take the whole tour, and then at the end they say, so how much is this going to cost me? It's a lot easier pill to swallow than it is for me to tell you what it's going to cost you.
Okay, then-
without having seen it.
Okay, well then close. We're gonna all close our eyes and walk us through the building.
Can I do this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Get really close to the mic and just
Do you want
whisper
an
it.
ac- Do I do an accent? I don't know.
No,
what to do
whatever
in this
whatever
situation.
works. Just keep talking.
Like, we literally are closing our eyes and listening.
This
I
is,
am.
This is what I see every day when I walk into community sports and wellness as a young boy that grew up in this area. So I walk in, I see this massive building, and I'm like, why does this belong here? Because I still ask myself that every day. As I'm walking in, the doors open, there's usually someone greeting me with a very genuine face and not like a my pleasure, like something that was scripted. That's not attack on Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm like,
Oh my goodness.
It's not. I'm walking in, and it's a genuine welcoming. And then I have my choice of where do I go? Do I go left to where this just massive athletic facility for gymnastics or ninja is, which I have used instead of coffee breaks when I need to wake up? I just jumped on the trampoline. Sorry, Sam, I do it. And then I have my options of fitness way in the back. There's so many free weights. There's things, anything that I would ever need as a former college athlete to get back in shape, which I plan on doing in a year. Or my option is to go to the right wing where there's 8 tennis courts. There's also pickleball, there's basketball. There's so many options. And for me, when we're talking about the price, I don't think it's actually that bad. It depends on who you are as a person and what you want to use.
Well, you also said it was 120,000 square feet.
massive
So
area.
as somebody who's been to gyms, I rarely have been to one that's 120,000 square feet.
Yeah, and really, when you think of fitness facility,
It's not a gym. It's like
it's really not a
more
gym,
than that.
and we try to keep ourselves from calling it a club too,
Right.
because club sounds exclusive. It's really inclusive. It's really community. It's opportune that community's in our name because
Absolutely.
it really is a community. So so you walk in, you join. Individual membership is $59 a month. And that
It's not
includes-
bad at all.
and
Why
that
did you make
includes-
this so hard?
No.
It has a
Because
purpose. It's not
so I have a purpose.
Exactly.
There's a method, always a method in my madness. But so it's $59 a month, and that includes free fitness classes, free use anytime, 5:00 in the morning, 10:00 at night, cardio, strength equipment, and pickleball.
And
pickleball,
And volleyball,
Yep.
and basketball.
And volleyball
And
and
basketball.
basketball. So that is the part of your membership. The tennis membership, and that's individual. As a couple, you're going to pay $89 a month. And as a family, which includes free childcare, $109 a month.
childcare.
2 hours a day.
My kid's gonna be there every day. I'm gonna get my $109 worth. What are you
Absolutely.
talking about?
No,
Yes.
here's
It's
the thing.
$80 a day to drop my kid off somewhere.
The only time that financially it wouldn't make sense is for someone that signs up and doesn't show up. And that's true for anything.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the tennis point of that, because the membership's a little different. So for a single tennis membership, we're looking at like $89.99, and then it ramps up from there. And most people see that and they go, "Oh my gosh, what do I have to pay monthly for a tennis membership?" Because everywhere else in the United States, I pay $200 some for the year. But then they have to pay court fees. They're still paying for everything. The model that we follow, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest with you. But it's an amazing opportunity, especially for local people. You pay one monthly fee as a tennis member. You pay no court fees. And I want to explain what that means for non-tennis people. Anywhere else.
Yep, please.
Even as a member, you will pay $32 an hour to play on a tennis court in Indianapolis.
Huh.
So here you pay $89 a month and you can play every single day. We have high school kids locally that come and train with their parents every morning, every evening. It's the cheapest opportunity that you can get anywhere in the United States, probably most places in the world, for the quality that we have. I mean, remember I mentioned we have courts, smart courts that no one else in the Midwest has outside of Nashville. So when people tell me like, "Oh, I don't know about the price," I'm like, do you not what? I mean,
Yeah.
I like go back to 14-year-old me. My mom would have been like, "Take my checkbook. Are you kidding me?" For as much as I was playing.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
no
I was
way.
there at 5:00 this morning. The first 5 people were from Pendleton High School. They were students. So, I mean, people are clearly taking advantage of how great this
It
is.
is a tennis buffet. Let me make this so Midwesterners understand. It is a tennis
Oh
buffet.
my!
Bring your sweatpants, play tennis. I
And you can
it's
take a shower after.
it's so many
Yes.
opportunities. It really is crazy, Sean. Like, when I was young, not to harp on that, but every time I played tennis, I paid. And I'm thankful my parents made that investment for me, and now I get to have a wonderful career in the sport and do the same for hundreds of other kids. But parents have an opportunity. I mean, we're talking about in other sports. I'm just going to be direct. We have other sports, baseball, basketball, which I think are awesome. Kids should do that. But people are paying thousands of dollars for camps, and their kids don't even play. They sit on the bench, and they wait for an opportunity to play, and they're paying the same price as the kid that's the starting point guard. In our sport, you will get individual attention no matter what your experience is. And I can't say that's true for many sports. So you're telling me that you can pay less money, get more attention, learn things like conflict resolution at a young age because there's no referees to blame. Literally 7-year-olds are arguing at the net to come up with a resolution.
Somebody to be mad
It's
at, yeah.
amazing, right? And it's unlimited for a price a month. I mean, that's crazy. And we're talking about a world where everybody's saying, how do I deal with the pressures? How do I deal with anxiety? I mean, play tennis if you don't know what to do. It will fix itself. So
And I will also add that the nice thing is we are kind of smorgasbord because with what Tammy does, we had this situation recently where a person came in and, what do you think is the number one goal when somebody walks in the door, especially in the first 3 months of the year? They want to lose some weight. But what we find is maybe there's some underlying things that prohibit people from reaching their goals. And so putting them on an exercise program might work for the first 2 or 3 months, but then that person may or may not continue. And so by doing that upfront needs assessment, we can really custom design a program to include fitness, of course, or a sport, or coaching with Tammy. So I think that's the really nice thing, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Tammy to add to this.
Well, and I'm going to bring up Indiana Premier Athletics again when you think about kids. And so what a value add, you can go to, I started to say the Purple facility, just as an example. And you can go there and you can work out. So I think the value add that we bring at Community Sports and
Took me a
Wellness-
second. I got purple just now. Okay. Keep going. I was like, what's purple?
So you can like the facility is for the babies that are 6 months old. Like our goal is to have offerings and programming that littles can get in all the way up to, pick your demographic. So we say from birth to grave, and so our our hope is that we become that community place for the family and for the generations. And so I think that's what tennis can offer. I think that's what Sam's goal is
Absolutely.
with IPA, is about building health and wellness, movement, education, being a resource, that we are more than just
A place to go.
a fitness facility, that it is, if you want to call it the smorgasbord, but I'm like, to me, that's that value that we place on it is, you pay now, pay later.
Yeah.
You can pay in a healthcare, sick care system, or you can pay to be well now. And I think that's a value add that we have, that we offer at Community Sports.
I would
Wellness.
add also it's in one place. I mean, just last night we had a local, I would call a friend of mine, a local mother who's her whole family, her husband, everyone's been involved in some way with community since we've opened. And just last night she hopped down in my class. One of her oldest daughter just finished a class. And then when they were all done, it all kind of aligned, and she picked up her youngest daughter who just finished in gymnastics. And as I was leaving, I was listening to them talk, and they all just finished their niche, right? Like the Find Your Fit, the same thing that Chris was alluding to. I mean, and I'm thinking of my sister and other people that I know that are like driving across central Indiana, picking up people from different spots. And it's like, everybody's like a professional planner. And it was, how cool was that they left at the same time, talked about their day in the van, and went home. I mean, that's
and
amazing.
I would say heading into year 2, that's a big strategy for us. And I think we call it like piggyback programming. Like, how do we take care of the adults, the moms, the dads?
Right.
How do we take care of those, high schoolers, junior hires, those tweeners, and how do we take care of the littles? And then piggybacking it, so it becomes the place where the family can come and you're here.
Oh yeah, me
So,
and my wife on a
value,
Sunday doing yoga,
value.
dropping our
Yeah.
kids off for somebody else to watch for 2 hours
Hey,
for the $109.
I mean, I hate to burst your bubble right now, but on Sundays we don't have childcare. I mean,
okay.
there are some things we don't, but that's just for now.
You could
That
put 'em
doesn't
in a
mean
tennis
forever.
lesson.
Yeah, I was gonna
Sean,
say.
I'll
Well,
come up.
I don't
Sean,
need
I'll
a
come
person to watch them.
Sean,
I
I'll
just need
come
a
up.
room. You got a room? We'll just leave them in there.
I'll
lot of
come
rooms.
over and hold your wee little one.
Yeah, she's brand new, so I'll drop her
Yeah.
off, and you guys go nuts with them.
I would be remiss, or we would be remiss, if we didn't mention that Community Health Anderson rents 10,000 square feet of space from us on the front of the building, out of which they do PT and rehab, as well as rock steady boxing. So they do serve a very unique niche. Parkinson patients come in, and of all levels, and they work out there. They also have, they've not quite opened, but their intent out of this location is to do diabetes prevention, cooking classes, classes in general. They have a classroom. They have a production kitchen. So I think once we get to the point, once community gets to the point where they're like 100% again, we're going to be seeing a lot of really cool stuff come out of there.
And you guys offer discounts to community employees, correct?
We do.
My wife works there, so
15%.
Ah,
Yes.
I'll see you next week, Sean.
And
I'm pretty sure I've got like, yeah, I was gonna say.
from a corporate membership standpoint,
We're going
too,
swimming,
I mean,
remember?
The sky's
got
the
kid.
limit. The sky's
herd
the
me in.
limit.
Yeah,
We can come up with something.
yeah, anybody and everybody. There's a lot of people that I think need to learn more about community sport and wellness. How can we, at 42 minutes into this, how can we send people off with a direction to go to get them and flood them in the doors to either play tennis, start their journey, and get this shit started?
how can we get them here?
Yes.
I mean, they can come see us at 395 South
Heritage
Way. I started to say Heritage Way Cafe. In Pendleton, our number is 765-744-1606. And you can go to the website, communitysw.com. You can also follow Indiana Premier Tennis. You can follow Indiana Premier Athletics. You can follow CSW something, I don't know, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you want to go.
So here, I like to get creative. Okay.
Deal.
So I'm not an event planner, but we would love to do an open house.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that it's planned, but
The performance open house.
Get your peeps together and come over and bring your friends, and let's do a couple hours of play. I mean, adults can play too. While the kids are playing, the adults can play.
Deal. You got booze?
Well,
That's another
Different,
podcast.
yeah, different kind of play.
that's a different conversation.
Okay.
For
deal.
another time.
All right. Well, then, yeah, let's plan an open house. We'll get something out. And then, guys, I want to say thank you so much for your time today. Yeah,
Thanks,
I'll
Sean.
see you soon.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sean.
All right.
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Thank you again so much for your love and support of the Performance Group podcast. For more information on the podcast, the Performance Group, or even our guests, feel free to reach out directly via our website, performancegroupindiana.com, or feel free to email me directly, which is Sean@performancegroupindiana.com. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you again so much for your love and support of the Performance Group podcast. For more information on the podcast, the Performance Group, or even our guests, feel free to reach out directly via our website, performancegroupindiana.com, or feel free to email me directly, which is Sean@performancegroupindiana.com. We'll see you guys next week.